They said the supercycle was dead. But while the crowd is panicking over screenshots of Binance closing accounts and the ghost of FTX looming in the shadows, something much bigger just happened behind the closed doors of Luxembourg. Ripple just secured a full EU money license. At the exact same second, Ando Finance got the green light to tokenize stocks for 500 million Europeans. Pause for effect. This is not a coincidence. This is the institutional handshake. Pause. While Vitalik Buterin is selling his ETH and admitting that the Ethereum Layer 2 dream is hitting a brick wall of complexity, the XRP ledger is being primed for the flip of the switch. David Schwartz is no longer talking about testing. He's talking about permission domains and moving billions in liquidity through a system that doesn't need training wheels. The banks are tired of the complexity. They want the secret sauce. I am the calm analyst. And today we witness the moment Ethereum's weakness became XRP's greatest opportunity. The headlines are screaming about a mass exit from Binance. And for a moment, the ghosts of 2022 felt very real. On February 3rd, 2026, social media erupted with screenshots of users closing their accounts. Binance was forced to halt some withdrawals, citing system maintenance for THB and other pairs. But while the crowd was distracted by the panic, the real power move was happening in Europe. On February 2nd, 2026, Ripple officially secured its full electronic money institution license from Luxembourg CSSF. This is not just another piece of paper. This license gives Ripple passporting rights across all 30 EA nations. While Binance is fighting for survival in multiple jurisdictions, Ripple has officially entered the heart of the European financial system. They can now issue electronic money, process payments, and operate with the full blessing of EU regulators. But look at the timing. At the exact same time, February 3rd, Ono Finance announced its landmark expansion with blockchain.com and MetaMask. They are bringing over 200 tokenized US stocks and ETFs to 500 million European investors. Do you think it's a coincidence that Ripple gets a money license and gets approval to flood the EU market with tokenized assets at the same moment? Ripple and Anando are working together to build the plumbing for the open economy. Institutional money doesn't care about tweets or hype. It cares about regulation. In 2026, the institutional money isn't just sitting on the sidelines anymore. It's actively choosing the regulated path. While the retail crowd is fleeing Binance in fear, the banks are moving toward the XRP ledger because it's the only place where the infrastructure and the license are officially ready for billions. Are you watching the account closures on X, or are you watching the regulatory wall being built around your assets? Something shifted in the digital hierarchy this week. For years, Ethereum was marketed as the world computer. But on February 3rd, 2026, Vitalik Buterin himself admitted what we've suspected all along. The original vision of Layer 2s is failing. Vitalik's recent statement was a bombshell. He admitted that the L1 plus L2 architecture has created a fragmented, complex, and frankly broken ecosystem. While Ethereum spends 2026 trying to fix training wheels and complex bridge risks, the XRP ledger is standing tall. The contrast is undeniable. Ethereum is trying to build what the XRP ledger already is. Think about it. On Ethereum, you have fragmented liquidity across a dozen different layers. On the XRP ledger, no layers, no bloat, just 3-second finality and institutional-grade settlement. As Jungle Incorporated rightly pointed out, complexity is an attack vector. Every extra layer Ethereum adds is a new way for something to go wrong. XRP was built for one thing: moving value instantly. It's not trying to be a game engine or a social network. It's trying to be the global bridge. But don't just listen to the words, watch the wallets. In the last 48 hours, on-chain data showed Vitalik Buterin selling another 493 ETH worth over $1.1 million. Since the beginning of February 2026, we've seen a consistent pattern of liquidation from the top. If the founder is dumping on retail while admitting the technical path is hitting a wall, what does that tell you about the future of the silver to Bitcoin's gold? Remember, before the SEC versus Ripple case, XRP was firmly the number 2 asset in the world. It was only the legal anchor of the SEC that slowed us down while Ethereum got a free pass. But in 2026, that anchor is gone. The playing field is finally level. We are witnessing a massive rotation. Capital is flowing out of the overcomplicated and into the battle-tested. While Ethereum is in a laboratory trying to reinvent itself, Ripple is in the boardroom signing licenses in Luxembourg and preparing to take back its rightful throne. Are you holding on to a dream that's hitting a wall? Or are you planning for the utility that is already operational? If you ever wondered why the big banks haven't filled the XRP ledger with billions yet, the answer wasn't about the technology. It was about privacy. Just yesterday, on February 4th, 2026, a historic event occurred on the XRP ledger. The permission domains amendment known as XLS80 was officially activated after receiving over 90% support from validators. This is what David Schwartz called the institutional gate. For the first time, a bank can use the public XRP ledger while creating a controlled zone. Inside this zone, they only trade with users who have passed identity checks. No terrorists, no sanctioned entities, just clean institutional liquidity. But how do you stay private on a public ledger? This is where the DNA protocol and its XDNA token come in. The DNA protocol just launched its zero-knowledge proof (ZKP) identity layer. It's pure mathematics. It allows an institution to prove they are compliant without revealing their sensitive commercial data to their competitors. As the Ripple engineers stated at Davos 2026, privacy is no longer a blocker. It's an invitation. David Schwartz recently revealed that institutions had historically used digital assets off-chain because they feared on-chain visibility. But with permission domains and DNA protocol live, that fear is dead. We are moving into the era of confidential multi-purpose tokens, MPTs. Imagine billions of dollars in tokenized gold, real estate, and stable coins like Relust, all moving through the XRP ledger with the speed of light and the privacy of a private vault. The upgrades are being done quickly in 2026. We aren't waiting years anymore. We are waiting for the final regulatory markup later this month. When that happens, the banks won't just test the ledger. They will migrate to it. XRP isn't just a payments coin anymore. It is the identity, trust, and privacy infrastructure for the world's financial elite. Are you watching the price fluctuations of today? Or are you watching the bridge being built to handle the world's trillions? The world is still talking about a 10-year adoption cycle, but they are using a 20th century calendar for a 21st century reality. While most are distracted by the noise on X, look at the validator votes. On February 12, 2026, the token escrow amendment officially goes live. This isn't just a technical fix. It is the release of the institutional locks. It allows for the secure automated escrow of Relust tokenized gold and real-world assets directly on the ledger. The infrastructure is no longer coming. It is launching. The institutions aren't waiting for a decade. They are waiting for the Clarity Act, which is sitting on the Senate floor right now. Once that pen hits the paper, the test phase for the world's biggest banks ends instantly. As the NYSE president said, tokenization will seep into every market. And as it does, XRP will rise as the world's bridge currency, not because of hype, but because it is the most efficient, most compliant, and now the most private bridge on the planet. I want you to understand the magnitude of what we are witnessing. We are moving from speculation to utility. When the banks move their trillions into tokenized treasuries, when every stock you own is on-chain, and when XRP facilitates those moves in 3 seconds, the wealth transfer won't be a slow climb. It will be an overnight event. Those who stayed patient during the FUD, those who ignored the Binance drama and focused on the Luxembourg licenses, they are the ones who will retire when the switch is flipped. Are you watching the fear today, or are you planning for the freedom of tomorrow? We have seen the cracks in the old systems. We've seen Ethereum struggling with complexity and the banks fighting to keep their control. But the data doesn't lie. The licenses are being granted, the ledger is being upgraded, and the institutional money is already at the door. Stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together in a market fueled by emotion and noise. We thrive on data and composure. Haste. Remember, haste leads to loss, while calm analysis leads to victory. Haste. Thank you for your trust, and thank you for being part of this rational community. Haste. I am the calm analyst. Stay patient. Stay rational. Stay rational. And as we always do, we don't wait for the future. We plan for it.